WISC TV now presents For the Record. Reviewing the first year of operations for Madison's Day Resource Center for people who are homeless is next on For the Record. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Hyden. The Beacon in the former Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce building on East Washington Avenue was a new experiment for Madison, a first-of-its-kind expansion of services to people who are homeless. It's really quite a remarkable place that seems to have found its footing. It's operated by Catholic Charities of Madison, and I'm pleased to welcome to For the Record Catholic Charities President and CEO Jackson Fonder and Beacon Lead Guest Services Specialist Joel Gerard. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Thank you, Neil. Merry Christmas to you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for doing this. Maybe we should just start by explaining what a day resource center is. I mean, I think most of the viewers are familiar with the shelters and that system, and maybe a little bit with the Housing First conversation over the last few years. But a day resource center is something different. If you haven't seen it, how would you describe it?
Well, I would say it's a gathering place for men, women, and children who are experiencing homelessness to come and get connected. Without it, you're talking about people that are forced to walk, get a ride, get on the bus line, if they have the money, to get to all of these services. So if we can collect all of these partner agencies under one roof to get them the help they need, the results are exciting.
There are no beds in the building.
No beds. Open 8 to 5, 7 days a week, 365.
And I don't want to put you on the spot with exact numbers, but give us a rough idea.
Sure. No, that's all right. We track this. You know, on that opening day in October in 2017, we had 180-some people, and it flowed up and down through the months. 6 months going, 225 a day, every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. It's hard to, kind of rationalize that that's good news and bad news. I mean, it's good that people are coming to the Beacon and taking advantage of the resources.
Yes.
But it would suggest that we've got a pretty serious issue on our hands.
Well, we do. And I think maybe Madison, all of us together as a city, we haven't swallowed that pill yet. This is a great town, great place to live, work, raise a family, but along with that comes some progressive and big city issues. This is one of them.
Can you even characterize the mix of clients there? How many are single men? How many are families? What does the population look like?
Joel?
I mean, I think I would say out of our normal kind of 225, 250 people a day, I would say 40 to 60 of them are families, women and kids in a separate family area. Yeah. I would say out of that left balance, probably 75 to 80% are single men and single women as well, with varying degrees of issues of mental health and addiction and just not having money to get a place to live. Madison's kind of expensive. There's not a lot of low-income housing for our guests, so even if they are working, that does mean they're going to get a house or they're going to have a place to live. So,
how much churn is there? I mean, are you seeing people there for varying lengths of time? Are there people that have, over the course of a year, still have not found a place to live?
I mean, I think that we're doing really good. There is some turnover. We have some that are considered chronically homeless, by the state and federal standards that will kind of always be with us. It's kind of just a place for them to be, to unwind, to kind of a safe zone as opposed to being on the street during the day, but may not want housing for whatever reason. But with the agencies we partner with, a lot of our guests, if they would like to work and with our help, there's a good chance. I mean, usually it's a pretty good chance, I would guess 3-4 months we kind of do this turnover. Families, thankfully, it's more about every 2 months or so that we're seeing them gone for a while, so, which is great.
No restrictions. People, I mean, there's no on length of stay?
Nope.
Yep.
No, nothing. And yeah, sometimes somebody might come and use the Beacon for a week. That's it. Yep. And sometimes we're seeing people every day for the whole year. The spectrum is really wide and varied and is as different as every person that walks through that room.
We're showing some images of the Beacon here. Clearly before clients were in the building, but it's nice pictures of some of the services available, the meeting rooms, the laundry facilities. We'll talk about everything that's available there. I think People are pretty familiar with the role of faith communities in the shelter system and in responding to homelessness here in Madison and Dane County, and certainly in the public sector service providers. But talk about Catholic Charities and why the Beacon was a good fit for Catholic Charities.
Well, we've been in business, if you will, for 75 years. We serve the poor and vulnerable without any restrictions, period. So that includes folks who are developmentally and physically disabled, aging population, families and kiddos, people suffering from addictions. So when this issue came up that the city of Madison was planning on putting together a homeless day resource center, it just seemed like a great fit for what we've had already been doing. Yeah. And it is. 14 months later, it's the perfect fit.
Yeah. Your relationship with the city, your relationship with county government is...
And the United Way, so those are the three primary stakeholders. Right. And we treasure those relationships. That word, partnership, gets tossed around a lot. But in this case, it's the real deal.
Well, we'll talk about some of those partners, but just in terms of an average day, people come into the Beacon. What's available to them there?
Well, we open at 8, so there's kind of an intake process when they come in, so we can know who's there and kind of accountability. But then they can sign up for laundry, showers. We have a breakfast, usually toast, cereal, sweet rolls, other items donated or we picked up from Second Harvest that we offer, because not all of our guests use the shelter, so they may not have a chance for breakfast, which was, I think, a change from when we originally opened what we thought we would be doing and not doing. And then they kind of settle in. We have a computer lab they're welcome to use, showers, as I mentioned, laundry facilities, all the other agencies, I think we're up to 20 partner agencies we work with. Are there on different days for meetings. They can do housing or mental health issues or physical. I mean, so there's just a lot they can do during the day. And in addition to that, we have a computer lab as well that is manned by volunteers, and that helps people get on and check their emails, jobs, applications, set all those things up as well.
Joel, you mentioned laundry facilities, but I mean, just as an example of how this really focuses on the dignity of the people involved.
Does.
Yep.
They don't have access to washers and dryers. They drop off their clothes. Yep. They're washed, dried, folded, and returned to them.
Yep.
It's a nice deal.
It is.
But to be candid, Neil, we didn't come up with that idea. We had traveled around the U.S. to visit other day resource centers. Yep. We saw this happening in Phoenix and in Fort Worth, Texas, and we liked it. And we thought, wow, that could be something special. And we implemented it, and it's been great.
You've overcome some challenges.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about those when we come back on For the Record right after this.
For the Record, sponsored by MG&E, your community energy company.
An evening in front of a fire can be so relaxing, but dangerous creosote buildup can cause a chimney fire if not removed. Help protect your home with CSL, the creosote sweeping log. It helps clean your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will reduce those dangerous deposits, making your next fire safer. It's so easy. Burn just once every 60 fires. CSL, the creosote sweeping log.
Get CSL. Available at Menards, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Shopko, and Walmart.
With so many mattresses out there, how do you know which one is really the best? Just look at how the Purple Smart Comfort Grid, made from a super comfy yet ultra supportive material called hyperelastic polymer, cradled those unfertilized chickies. Purple's unique design cradles your pressure points and redistributes support to the rest of your body for maximum comfort and support.
Get the best rest of your life on Purple, now at Denver Mattress. The easiest way to get the right mattress.
It's the holiday season, the best time of the year to unwrap the best deal on TV and internet from Spectrum. From $89.98 per month, call 833-300-8998. Spectrum TV has tons of free HD and free on demand, including your primetime favorites. Plus, with the Spectrum TV app, you can stream live TV at home or on the go on all your devices. Call 833-300-8998. Spectrum has the fastest internet starting speeds for the price, 200 megabits per second. That's enough bandwidth to keep everyone's devices connected while streaming, gaming, surfing, or downloading. There are no data caps and includes a free internet modem and free security suite. Get it all with no contracts and a 30-day money-back guarantee. 'Tis the season to save with Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Call now and ask how you can save up to 40% on your wireless bill with Spectrum Mobile. Call 833-300-8998.
Our Christmas week edition of For the Record is looking back at a year of operations, 14 months now, of the Beacon, Madison's remarkable day resource center for people with disabilities. And Jackson Fonder, who is the president and CEO of Catholic Charities of Madison, is with me, along with Joel Gerard, who is the guest services manager at the Beacon. So a few months in, there was some news stories that focused on some issues that the Beacon was facing. There's a little bit of discomfort in the neighborhood. There were some police calls. I don't know what it felt like to you, how disruptive that seemed, but it certainly seems to have been dealt with. How did you deal with it? What was the
Sure, I think
process there?
I'll start us off and then turn it over to Joel. I'll say that. So we don't have a day resource center in Madison until the Beacon arrives. So all of the issues predominantly are around State Street and the top of State Street, around the Capitol.
City County building.
Yes,
right?
yes. So all of a sudden you open up the Beacon. Think about it visually from an aerial standpoint, and everybody making their way from the Capitol to the Beacon. They're cutting through neighborhoods. They're coming our way. Then at night, they make their way back. Well, there's going to be issues. We knew that there'd be issues, but it still surprised us, and we had to deal with it. So we have a really nice, close relationship with the Madison Police Department. Neighborhood associations, yes, we experienced a spike in the number of phone calls and the number of issues in and around the Beacon. And quite frankly, we had to change a lot of our policies and make some serious moves.
One of the things we've done is kind of part of the intake process. We explained earlier when they come in, we have an intake process where we'll sit down with our guests and go over what we call a code of conduct, rules and expectations, so they know where we stand and they know, and we understand what's going on. It gives us time to touch base with them and get their needs real one-on-one, try and figure out what they're there for. How can we help going forward? But the code of conduct is then signed by the guest after it's read. We have in English and in Spanish. And then we go over it with them, and it's been dramatic decrease in situations. That's the code of conduct, because it set a list of expectations for our guests and for us as well. And what we're going to do, because it's a partnership, and I like to think of it that we work for our guests. So I want to find out what they need, how we can help them to get them out of whatever they might be going through at that moment.
I don't remember the last story on an issue at the Beacon. I'm sure they haven't just disappeared. But
no, they haven't. We deal with it all the time.
Yeah.
But those spikes are gone.
Okay.
But I don't want to sound like we don't have issues.
Right.
Listen, we have a long way to go. We're only open a year. But this is a relationship business too. And Joel and all the staff at the Beacon, it's taken a long time to develop these one-on-one relationships with all of these folks. And all of these phone calls and issues happened in the first 90, 120 days. Yeah. And since those relationships have been developed and improved upon, we're seeing some improvement there.
I love that the big breakfast fundraiser was at the Sylvie. Yep. And that it was so successful. Yep. This is an urban issue, and I think in other cities we're seeing how successful urban places are dealing with this issue. And it'll be interesting to see the relationship between the Beacon and the Cap East District,
yes.
Which is still growing itself.
It's changed dramatically over the last handful of years. And you're right, the Beacon and Eggs breakfast was a big success. We sold out. We had a lot of sponsorships. It was fantastic to see the downtown business community come together for that. To say that we were excited about the event and the outcome would be an understatement.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
The conference rooms, the computer space, how successful have those been in providing the resources that people need around finding housing? And I'm talking about, perhaps pursuing education, perhaps job and employment opportunities, those kinds of things.
I think it's been very successful. You know, we have partner agencies. Some of them help our guests with resumes, applications. Some things we don't think about all the time is that this is sometimes a link by email to their family, to their friends, to their jobs. We allow them to print off resumes. We have volunteers help fill them out. You know, so it's also a lifeline for our guests to be with their family and other jobs and resources. And we have a phone at work that we allow people to use as a phone. If they don't have a phone, so they can get calls and messages on that. So, you know, the prospective employers necessarily don't know where they are or what's going on, and we don't give that information out unless they want us to. But I mean, our computer lab is always full. We have a waiting list of people to get into it, so I think that says a lot
That
about
second floor is kind of a professional space.
Yeah.
It is. We like to describe the first floor around the areas of dignity and respect. Food, clothing, laundry, showers, that kind of thing. But you're right. That second level is all about the connecting and the partnerships and the professional level. I would just add that one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is the isolation and the loneliness and the anxiety and depression. And when you have an opportunity to connect with anybody via phone, computer, email, sometimes that's enough to keep you alive for another 24 hours.
What kind of health care do you have there?
We have Matt Julian, who comes from Unity Point. He's a caseworker, social worker, outreach from Merida Point.
Okay.
Comes and helps connect people with making appointments, getting appointments, because there again, most times you have a computer or have a phone, and some of our guests don't. So Matt's able to make those connections. Eye Care stopped in. Probably going to bring eye care on soon. It's a different type of insurance for those who don't qualify for Badger Care.
But there are no healthcare professionals on site?
No.
We have Medic.
We have Medic, and we have Matt Julian.
Tell them what Medic and Mach 1 do.
Okay. So Mach 1 is, Mach 1 is kind of a street outreach medicine, I think, is the easiest way to explain it. They go out with Friends of State Street Family and other organizations tonight to kind of help people who won't go into the emergency room or won't go to the doctor or just for whatever reason. So they kind of approach them on the street where they are and try and meet them where they are for what their needs could be. And then Medic is through the university and some students, and that's kind of more of a mental health aspect as well. And we do have, I just forgot her name, mental health women is there on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well.
Yep, the counselor.
Yes.
The counselor.
Well,
let's talk a little bit about what's next for the Beacon and how people watching can help, because there are ways that they can help. And we're going to do that when we come back right after this.
Shop Wild Easttown Honda for final clearance savings on over 400 new Hondas. Lease a new Civic hatchback for only $169. Just $169 at Wild Easttown Honda in Madison. It's gotta be wild.
This is an exciting time in the energy industry.
The world is changing, and we want to work toward common goals.
Toward a cleaner energy future, driven by innovation, powered by working together.
By working with customers, we provide customers what they want.
MG&E is your community energy company for the future, powering our community, sharing your values, partnering to meet your needs. Visit Energy2030together.com to create a more sustainable future together.
Do you suffer from chronic pain, stress, anxiety, depression? You need to know about CBD oil from hemp. Hi, my name is Tim O'Brien, owner of Apple Wellness. The benefits that you've heard about from medicinal marijuana and cannabis oil are true of CBD. Our brands are legal and cannot get you high. CBD oil has been working for my customers, bringing them relief. We would love to find the best potency and form for your needs. Visit one of our Apple Wellness locations in Fitchburg or Sun Prairie, or go to apple-wellness.com. Apple Wellness, the healthy place.
Here's a dose of reality. Driving under the influence of prescription painkillers is just as illegal and just as deadly as driving drunk. In fact, drugged driving deaths in Wisconsin have increased nearly 200% over the past 10 years. Help prevent drugged driving, and let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Driving on pills kills. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Justice and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Everything's gone.
exclusive go-to gifts.
Shop Wild Easttown Honda for final clearance savings on over 400 new Hondas. Lease your new CRV for only $279. Just $279 at Wild Easttown Honda in Madison. It's gotta be wild.
And back with Jackson Fonder, the president and CEO of Catholic Charities, and with Joel Gerard, who is the lead guest services manager at the Beacon, Madison's Day Resource Center for people who are homeless. It's difficult to go through all of the services there, and I'd like to get your thoughts on what the potential is for the Beacon. I mean, as you so rightfully put, it's only been a year. I mean, I think we could have expected that it would have taken a year to figure this stuff out, but particularly in terms of the relationships that you've stressed are so important. How those relationships can be leveraged, maybe more effectively, and who some of those partners are.
Well, we were open in October, November, and December without partners, just to get the ball rolling, don't you think, Joel?
Yep.
And
I hadn't
kind of
thought
get a
about that.
feel.
Then we get our feet on the ground, see what the guests are, what kind of the needs were before we, and tons of extra new stuff to it as well.
Then we started adding a partner or two every month, and it got momentum, and 5 partners turned into 10, and now we've got 21,
I think. Yep, 2021.
Why don't you walk through a few of those, because we talked about relationships with the guests, and they are important, but the relationships with the partners are just as important.
Yeah, we have, as we mentioned, 20 different agencies that come in that are everything from the VA to mental health to food stamp program to AFSA, which is a work program.
A lot of familiar names here for our viewers. Project Babies, for example.
Yes.
Great outfit.
Yes.
But then Porchlight and Second Harvest and Tenant Resource Center and Urban League of Greater Madison. I mean, these are really good partner agencies.
They are, and we couldn't do what we do without them. And they add everything. That is the essence of the Beacon, are those partnerships, because they move the needle. They take our guests and move them to the next level.
What's funding like? How much are you dependent on gifts from perhaps viewers of this show, for example?
We struggle just like everybody else, but we're doing okay. So think about it as a gigantic operational budget of around $800,000 or $900,000, and a piece of that is the city. They help us out. United Way helps us out, and so does the County of Dane. Right. Our portion, Catholic Charities, we need to raise about $250,000, $300,000 a year to operate it, and we do okay. It's a popular initiative. People have fallen in love with it. It is heavy reliant on volunteers. Hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. So on top of the donations, you also have the need for volunteers who are willing to put in time at a place that's not really easy to volunteer at.
What's that process like, Jackson? I mean, you'll take inquiries from anybody, vet them, and then there's training and that kind of stuff?
There's training. Tammy Fleming is our volunteer coordinator. You may have heard her name in the past from Friends of the State Street family, but you got to be 18 or over to volunteer, number one. It's a great opportunity for companies to send a handful of people or for a family to come. There's an application process, and a quick interview, a background check, and some training. All of that in an effort to better prepare someone for a good experience. And believe me, it's a good experience.
Do you have businesses that have adopted the Beacon yet?
Yes. Talk about a little bit of the meals or some of the other businesses you've seen.
So we mentioned a lot about the Thanksgiving dinner. That was partnership with Beef Butter Barbecue and Festival Foods and Clausen Bakery. Second Harvest again. So big companies that are coming in, donating food and time. So different people come in on different days. We have churches that sponsor like a Wednesday meal. We have private people who do a Tuesday meal and a Thursday. So they either purchase the items or get them from us through Second Harvest to cook and come in and serve meals for 200 and some people every single week. Like like clockwork, they're there, serving people, and we couldn't do any of that without our sponsorship and our partners. And Friends of State Street Family takes care of all of our Saturdays for years down the road. So it's organizations like that that have stepped up and just kind of made it their mission and their goal too. So we are very fortunate.
And if indeed you are making this up as you go along, what would you like to see maybe in the next year, the next 2 years?
Yeah, I use the phrase a lot. What would you do if you had a magic wand?
Yeah, right.
I think about things like, you know, it's the Christmas season, and I really think about that family area. It's a private area for security purposes, but you know what? Out in the back, it's got its own mini courtyard. It's very small. But I think about a company that might go overboard on a donation to put up a large jungle gym or playground equipment because 40 to 60 family members are in there 7 days a week. That piece, along with expanding medical, something like an RN or a doc that comes 3 days a week, 4 days a week to provide that preventative medical care.
You get the sense you're changing the landscape here, the conversation?
Yes, there's no doubt about it. I think this is one of the best news stories coming out of Madison in a long time. It took a lot of people to get this done, Neil.
Well, congratulations on year one.
Thank you.
We look forward to year two. And we're going to come back and wrap up For the Record right after this.
In the new year with big savings from Menards. Save money with Richmond high-efficiency water heaters. For continuous hot water, get this natural gas or LP tankless water heater, $988.99. This hybrid electric water heater is our most energy-efficient model, $1198.99. Update your bathroom with Delta. Customize your shower experience with the Delta 6-spray combo shower head. In satin nickel, just $59.99. The Delta Porter bath faucet and brush nickel is only $89.99. Now during Menards New Year's sale.
Save big money at Menards.
During the Ram Big Finish event, there's no better time to get a great deal on the trucks with best-in-class towing. And the all-new Ram 1500, 2019 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Hurry in before the Ram Big Finish event is finished.
Or right now, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on the all-new 2019 Ram 1500. Or well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get this low-mileage lease on the all-new 2019 Ram 1500.
Ho, ho, ho! Whoa, Shopko with prices so low, no coupons needed. Get 25% off all toys. Gold and silver jewelry is up to 65% off. And kitchen appliances like Black & Decker and more, only $17.97. Whoa, so low. Going on now at Shopko.
News 3 and Channel 3000 put top stories and breaking news at your fingertips. Video alerts and forecasts. Clean, simple, and fast. Download the Channel 3000 app today.
On the next Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be here to take your health calls.
And a special Christmas Eve presentation of the sounds of the season.
A holiday gathering of hundreds to do something good for a young single mother facing a rare illness.
Leslie is much more of a giver than a taker, so it's time for us to step up to the plate and be supportive of her.
Wednesday on News 3 at 10.
My thanks to Jackson Fonder and Joel Gerard, and to you for joining us. We'll see you next week on For the Record.